Hey everybody, Dirili here. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Destiny's Princess, a war story, a love story, along Nobunaga's route. We are now on Chapter 8, which is our last chapter before the endings, and it is called Annihilator. So I guess we're going to go annihilate the leader of the demons, which would be Rokaku. So let's charge on to our destiny. You can just sit back, relax, and let me read you a story. We separated into two groups, those who stayed in the castle and those who went out to battle. There were only a select few that went toward the Rokaku Konoji castle. In order not to attract the demon's attention, we galloped through the mountains and sometimes advanced on foot. Nobunaga lined his horse up with mine and spoke to me on the side of the road.
If we burn Rokaku Takayori's corpse in the innermost part of the castle, we can sever the link to the underworld. That way the demons will disappear, just like your dagger said.
When did you ask about that?
While you were sleeping. You slept like a rock last night. You looked rather tired.
And whose fault would that be? Nobunaga grinned.
After what we did last night, is anything going through your body as you ride that horse?
If you say any more, I'll sew that mouth of yours shut.
How scary. Knowing you might actually do it.
He said that, but it didn't look like he was holding himself back in the least. But I'm surprised. You got a straight answer out of that dagger. How did you do it? It usually just dodged questions and never gave out any important information.
Well, I have my ways.
You don't have any intention of telling me, huh? Nobunaga snorted in response to my question.
You know me well.
Oh, jeez. After becoming so close to him, I now knew his thoughts were immeasurable. Won't it be dangerous if we invade the castle? Can't we burn the castle and Rokaku Takayori?
That's a good question. However, once you see it for yourself, you won't be able to say the same thing.
Huh? I soon learned what he meant. This is Rokaku Kanoji Castle? Below the cliff, in between a grove of trees, was an enormous, almost majestic stone castle. And I guess stone doesn't burn so well. Can we see it, please? It was so... Big mountain castle? What? Even if we tried to burn it, it was mostly made of stone. Anything that looked burnable was rotten. The only thing left was a messy pile of rocks. Even if we burned the surroundings all at once, it would take a lot of work to burn the interior. Nobunaga turned to the vassals that followed him this far. Masamune was among them.
What you're all looking at is Rokaku Kanoji Castle. Takayori's remains are in the depths. Fuma and his party will lure out the remaining demons. We are lucky enough not to run into any demons so far, but from here on it'll be a battlefield. Lord Nobunaga.
I didn't know when he had come, but Kotaro appeared out of the shadows of a tree.
All the arrangements are in order. How many of them are there? Approximately 100.
100? I didn't know if I should view it as a lot or think of it as a small number. Our troops were 1/4 of that.
Masamune. Yes, my lord.
Masamune stepped out from the middle of the vassals. Oh, I cannot wait to date Masamune.
You're in charge of subduing the demons that are lured out. Use the remaining men as you see fit. Acknowledged.
Masamune spoke briefly. He looked very reliable with how much confidence was on his face.
A great number of demons are on their way to the castle. It is up to Yukimura to hold them off. What? We won't take that long. Also, think of the castle as non-existent.
Nobunaga spoke clearly, and his words sounded confident. I should have, warned them to all get out of the castle. Well, then again, I guess Yukimura led them out before in other endings, so maybe he'll save everybody this time too. Maybe Nobunaga did tell him before, actually. Huh. I don't know, I guess we'll see. Hopefully everything will be cleared up in Nobunaga's route. Father, what do you mean?
What? Just think of it as their last stand. We're leaving.
Nobunaga spoke in a strong voice. He then cut through the vanguard and rode down the cliff. I readied myself and followed after him on my horse. Follow father!
Protect Lord Nobunaga and the princess.
Kotaro commanded the troops. I saw a shadow jump onto a treetop like a wild monkey. The cliff wasn't very high or steep. It took all my effort not to fall off the cliff, but just as we finished descending, they appeared. They're here! The demon was holding a piece of meat. I discerned that it was demon meat from its color. And the demon's mouth was covered in blood. Even its teeth were red. So they're cannibalistic demons?
It was lured out by the bait.
Before I knew it, Kotaro was standing next to me, sneering. Then you lured it out with that meat? Demons don't mind cannibalism, huh?
Yeah, stay here, princess. We'll protect you. And once we've made a path, go along with Nobunaga. Avenge your loved ones.
Kotaro, I miss you, Kotaro. Oh. Kotaro looked at me and smiled like an innocent child. Upon Nobunaga's orders, he spied on me. I wondered how much of the truth he knew. I guess he knew he was summoned here because of my own selfish wish. Despite knowing that, he still smiled at me like that. Thank you, Kotaro.
It's nothing.
Kotaro spoke as if he didn't care. The battle had already started before my eyes. On Masamune and Father's orders, the vassals were separated into different platoons. The skilled warriors cleverly exterminated the demons. I separated myself from the troops and went away from the demons. I was absorbed in firing my bow. The demons came out from the castle and spread out. When the first corpses fell over,
Sire, follow me.
Nobunaga called to me as he maneuvered the horse's neck. Yes, father. I thought I saw a straight line in the midst of battle. Several vassals followed us. They must have been designated to do so beforehand. Right as we were about to reach the castle gates, a huge bludgeon-like arm swung in front of me. I ducked and dodged it with a hair's breadth. I looked to my side and saw the demon thrust its arm at me. I saw it in slow motion. Would I make it? Would I escape? I wouldn't make it. I prepared myself for the impact.
Ugh!
No, Masamune! I heard Masamune and the demon roar. I opened my eyes atop the horse that was running at top speed. In the distance, I saw Masamune pull out the longsword he stabbed the demon with. He then yelled, "Oh, thank goodness! I was afraid he sacrificed himself for me." Don't die, anybody! Let there be one good ending where nobody dies! Well, except for Hanbei. It's too late for him. And I expected him to die every path. He has 2 more deaths to go since we still have Yukimura and Masamune. Sorry, Hanbei.
Good luck.
You too! The image of Masamune waving his hand became more and more distant. Yukimura, who had been left in the castle, as well as Hanbei, who had died. They originally had no connection to me, yet they were now desperately fighting for me. I no longer knew if their feelings were theirs or the ones from their deceased counterparts. The disgust I felt when I found out my real father and brother's feelings were now gone. I now found encouragement in their feelings. I'll end all of this, I swear. I will make the demons disappear from this nation, no matter what. The inside of the castle was desolate. Before we got out of the tiger's den, there was now a rotting roof over the place the front yard should have been. Rokaku Kanonji Castle had been made differently compared to any other castle I had known. The floor was cracked in several places. Dust and icicle-like cobwebs hung from the barren ceiling. We left our horses and grabbed torches as we continued inside on foot. It would have been difficult to go with the horses because of the debris and big holes in the floor. There were pieces of meat lying around. It must have been the bait Kotaro set up. The smell of fresh blood mixed in with the stagnant, dust-filled air. On the way there was a demon still inside, but the vassals killed it. Other than that, it was a surprisingly quiet journey. On our way, we went down some old stairs. It looked like we were going into a cellar. No one uttered a word. We even suppressed our sighs as we quickened our pace. After a short while, Nobunaga, who was in front, stopped.
It's here, huh? Yes, my lord.
Kotaro answered nonchalantly from the rear. There was a large door nailed shut in front of Nobunaga. After taking a closer look, it seemed like there were traces of paper pasted on it. They must be seals. It must have been from paper that sealed spirits. The letters were faded and the papers were rotting. They should have kept putting them on there. It's all their fault, whoever stopped posting them. Nobunaga glared at the door. He shouted an order. Yeah, you tell that door. Give it what for.
Open it.
2 vassals rushed over with cleavers and pushed on the door. The loud screeching echoed in the narrow passage. At the same time, fragments fell to the floor. A large cloud of dust flew at us. It looks like this thing hasn't been opened in a long time. I was half speaking to myself, and Kotaro answered.
We only verified the contents from a crack in the wall. We never went inside. When his castle was destroyed, this door was closed. It probably stayed that way since then.
The thick door was slowly pushed open. It was so old, the hinge was about to fall off. It was like moving a heavy rock. When the vassals opened it enough so a person could pass through, Nobunaga crossed his arms and gazed at the door. He mumbled in a soft voice.
They're coming.
A gust of wind surged out from the other side of the door. Where is this wind coming from? We were in the middle of the castle. It looked like we were in the deepest part and underground. The wind was so strong, it could have put out our eyes if we didn't cover them. The hair behind my neck wrapped in a swirl. If I hadn't stood firmly, my body might have been blown away.
Ugh.
The wind put out our torches. It became pitch black. There was an odd smell in the air. Ah, the smell of the underworld. When I had thought the wind died down, I saw someone's huge back in front of me. Nobunaga! Nobunaga smiled and looked into the depths of the door as the wind blew. How can I tell? He's standing in front of me with his back to me, I imagine, since he's looking in, so how can I tell he's smiling? The wind suddenly stopped. Huh? I took a peek inside and was astonished. There was a room that was far more tranquil than I had imagined, and much cleaner apparently. There's all these seals on the banner right in front of him. I'm surprised people actually came down here to do that. Even though the castle was falling apart, the room looked like it was just built brand new. The walls looked like they were just painted, and the wooden pillars were beautiful, yet it looks like they have a dirt floor.
There's a lit candle. It wasn't there when I looked last time.
Kotaro mumbled. I was late to realize that fact. Even though the torches went out, we could see the inside thanks to the flame of the candles. This was someone else's living space. That person was... It was the same person who showed up in my dream. The body was protected by a barrier and enshrined. His hollow eyes and clothes were the same. Then that was his corpse?
We're going in.
Time to salt and burn those bones. Nobunaga stepped forward, and the vassals followed suit.
Princess, let's go inside as well.
I shall enter. Yes. I was dumbfounded at Takayori's remains, but I came to my senses and went in. The moment I stepped over the threshold, Takayori's jaw fell off.
Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
The strange noise pierced our ears and disturbed our minds. The jaw from Takayori's corpse started clattering and moved about. Is it because of my bloodline being in here?
It's not possible. Is the jaw speaking?
His voice sounded like 10 people singing together as it echoed. His shouts were full of hate. I froze up. Takayori's eye sockets were empty. They weren't supposed to be there, but he was staring at me. My family put an end to the Rokaku clan, and he wanted me, the sole survivor.
Oh, frightening.
One vassal drew his sword, and his eyes lit up with bloodlust. He ran just like that and tried to cut Takayori. However... When he reached the fence around Takayori, he flew backwards as if he was hit by lightning.
Ooh.
His voice became even louder and echoed strongly. It was maddening even when we covered our ears. The walls rattled in response to his voice. The floor beat as if it were a living thing's stomach. Takayori's voice was unimaginable. It sounded like a collective billow of voices. I was sure it was the collective hatred from the Rokaku clan that my family destroyed. When everyone covered their ears and cowered in fear...
Quiet!
Nobunaga was still standing up straight. His eyes were burning as they stared and roared at Takayori. The voice then disappeared. It was like his spirit won against Takayori's hatred. As he stared at Takayori's corpse, Nobunaga spoke in a sharp voice.
Even if we can't get close, we can shoot him with an arrow, and flames can purify the wicked. Cause a fire. Bring a burning arrow.
What if a burning arrow would just be deflected too?
Yes, my lord.
One vassal fell over as he took out a piece of flint. Nobunaga spoke to me, but did not look at me.
Princess, that's your prey. That's your enemy.
My enemy. He was right. It was the reason my father died. It was responsible for killing my loved ones. It killed my brother and the vassals. Many people were lost because of it. It was my enemy.
Fire a flaming arrow. Burn it completely.
I will.
Princess, use this.
A vassal handed me an arrow. A cloth doused in oil was wrapped around the tip of the arrow firmly. Thank you. I nodded and took the arrow. I fixed it on the bow's string. I aimed and ordered the vassal. Light it on fire. The vassal put the fire from a stick onto the arrowhead. When I was about to let go of the arrow, Takayori's jaw started to shake again. The loud sound started to reverberate in the room again.
Ugh!
The vassals crouched in fear. My vision was bending. It twisted, stretched, shrank, and swayed like a tremor. But I didn't take my eyes off Takayori. I didn't even notice the flame's heat on my finger. I won't lose to an illusion. Above the decaying corpse, I could see the faces of old men piled together. That was probably Rokaku Takayori, a mass of hatred against my family that he couldn't abandon. He was my father's, brother's, and everyone's enemy. Now I was about to shoot him. Take this! The bowstring sprang forward. It sounded like the clear sound from Makoto. It tore through the vengeful spirit's voice. In that moment... Oh! It must have been an illusion. The faces of my loved ones that I'd forgotten flashed before my eyes. It was like they came to say their final farewell. It was like they gently returned the kind and nostalgic fragments of my memories to me. The fire arrow hit Takayori's eye socket. For a moment there was silence. And then... The flames burned all at once. The strangely vivid scream leaked out from Takayori's throat. Ugh! It was like killing a living person. The burning corpse squirmed as if it was writhing in pain. Its hand reached out at me as if it wanted something from me. How terrifying! I held my body tightly. Suddenly, I felt someone's presence nearby.
For just flesh and bones, it sure is burning nicely.
Well, yeah, it had clothes too. It was Nobunaga. He noticed my gaze and smiled. He hugged my shoulders.
Good job.
Nobunaga!
Yup.
Nobunaga! I clung to him. His strong arms promptly hugged me back. At first I had resisted to call him father. After that, for some reason I didn't call him by his name anymore. And now I was calling his name obediently from the bottom of my heart. I said my farewells to my real father. This man was my husband. He was the man I chose, the only man for me. He's not your husband yet. I held on to Nobunaga's arm as I watched Takayori burn. His corpse was now silent. It slowly shrank. He was like a slug splashed with salt water. The violently moving body became still. It didn't even twitch on the floor. I was dumbfounded, but when the flame transferred onto a pillar, I came back to my senses.
Let's get out of the castle, quickly!
While Nobunaga spoke, the violent flames climbed up the pillar, and the ceiling caught on fire.
Come here.
Okay. I quickly followed after Nobunaga and noticed something weird. The walls and floor that had looked brand new when we entered changed into a rustic color. It wasn't like they had burned. The flames hadn't reached those parts of the room yet. They just decayed on their own. As soon as we stepped over the exit, it decayed even more, and its fragments scattered. The room that had been filled with Takayori's spells finally started to disappear. We quickly hurried outside, as if we were being chased by the flames. Everyone collapsed after we escaped the castle. A remarkably loud noise reverberated behind us. The passage became a giant pile of rubble. If I was one step too late, I might have been crushed.
Princess, are you all right?
I fell onto the grass, and Masamune put his hand out towards me. Yeah, what about you?
I'm fine. Sir Fuma, I'm glad to see you're safe as well. Yeah, but I'd rather not do that again. I can't handle such eerie stuff.
Next to me, Kotaro sat on the ground, drenched in sweat. He looked up at the sky.
Look, the demon's remains are disappearing.
I finally noticed after Nobunaga pointed it out. The demon's remains scattered all around, sank into the ground.
What's going on? That means they weren't originally from this world. If these remains are disappearing, that means the demons at the castle should be gone too.
Masamune went toward a grove of trees. He looked toward the castle. Then, Yukimura and the others have been saved.
Most likely, yes.
Thank goodness. When I shouted, the dagger started to speak at the same time.
Well then, it looks like I'll be free from my duty soon enough.
Huh?
What was that voice just now?
Kotaro glared at my bosom. Don't glare at my chest like that. You shouldn't be staring there in the first place. Kotaro glared at my bosom with an intense face, while Masamune blinked in wonder. See, Masamune has a better reaction. He's staring in wonder at my chest, Kotaro. Take a lesson from him. Nobunaga snorted in displeasure.
You cannot. Stay here for a bit longer.
That's impossible. You can't stop me anymore.
What does that mean? As I asked my question, Nobunaga took the dagger from my bosom.
Originally, the demon sealed inside this dagger was sent by the Rokaku clan in order to destroy your castle, princess.
What?
What are you talking about?
Shh. Kotaro silenced Masamune, who was still confused. The other vassals started to stare as well, not understanding the situation. I spoke to Nobunaga. Why do you know about those things?
I asked about it when I was summoned here before. The previous lord didn't show me the dagger, but he told me about it.
That's exactly right. I was summoned to destroy your castle. I was sent for that purpose.
My face turned white. From the beginning, I was doing just what the enemy wanted me to do. But how did a demon sent to destroy the castle become an heirloom?
I was captured because I was a powerful demon. Oh my, humans are such horrifying creatures.
The dagger cackled.
And your distant ancestor promised me that if I granted 10 wishes, I would be set free.
The dagger never told me that my wish was the 10th and final one. That means you're... The demon's voice lowered. It sounded like a completely different person.
All I have to do is fulfill my pledge to the Rokaku clan and destroy your castle.
I swallowed my breath and looked toward the castle. The vassals simultaneously turned their heads as well. One person went past the grove of trees and looked through an opening. He shivered.
Look, there's smoke coming from the castle.
It was true. A line of smoke was trailing along. In that direction, and at the distance, I was sure it was from the castle. Everyone! I covered my mouth. Everyone, I thought you were finally saved. I can't believe this.
From the beginning, the castle was destroyed. I made it look like it was fine with my powers.
How did we all live in it all this time then?
There's nothing strange about returning it to its proper form, right?
The dagger spoke in its high-pitched voice again. It continued to laugh in Nobunaga's hand.
Well then, princess, let me solve a mystery for you before you disappear.
Before I disappear? Huh? In a stupor, I carelessly turned toward the dagger. The dagger clattered in Nobunaga's hands as he had a grim expression on his face.
Your wish came true the moment I chose these men. Despite that fact, why do you think I stayed in this world, in that castle with you? Did you think these men were the only people who fell in love with you?
What are you saying? The dagger shook even more violently. It strangely looked like it was laughing. The dagger then informed everyone in the vicinity with its loud voice.
Your body was just as sweet as your blood.
What? My body? What are you talking about?
Have you already forgotten? It happened that night before you two embraced.
You mean when the priest was at the foot of the... Oh my god, please, no.
It felt like someone was touching you, right?
What?
You writhed in joy, didn't you? Didn't you feel like something was piercing the center of your body?
Oh my god. Ugh. That night. I thought it sounded shady what they were saying, but... seriously? The night I saw the illusion of the Buddhist priest. The feeling I had when I couldn't move, and it felt like something heavy was on me. It felt similar to when Nobunaga embraced me. Oh god.
In other words, you...
Stop it! Stop!
Before him, I...
Stop! I covered my face with both hands and crouched down.
What?
I heard something that sounded like someone biting a rock, the dagger that made a strange sound. Without any expression on his face, Nobunaga was stepping on the dagger. He stomped his foot on it over and over.
Gugh!
It moaned softly. That was the last sound the dagger made. Nobunaga lifted his foot. Below it, the smashed scabbard and the broken dagger. The blade and the scabbard suddenly became aged. Just like the walls in the room Takayori was in, it automatically turned into small fragments. It became sand right before my eyes. It then became ash and was carried off by the wind. Nobunaga's grim face suddenly had a smile on it.
Princess,
Nobunaga pulled me up by the arm and hugged me.
it's okay. You don't need to cry.
Okay.
Don't cry, okay?
Uh-huh. He put his warm arm around me and caressed me. I couldn't hold myself back. Ugh. Were the people in the castle okay? Was the thing that happened to my body that meaningful? Everything came at me all at once and caused me to cry. Nobunaga whispered to me as he cuddled and caressed my back.
Don't cry. Don't cry. You're strong. You defeated your sworn enemy splendidly. Don't lend your ears to that small demon's practical joke.
Oh God, just as long as she's not pregnant. But... He couldn't understand the disgust I felt at the idea of being touched by someone other than him, much less a demon.
I know for a fact you were a virgin. It was only an illusion. There's no need to cry.
Oh, thank goodness.
And Yukimura was with everyone in the castle. I'm sure they were able to run away. Don't worry, everything went well.
Okay. Nobunaga let me go. He then smiled and asked me a question as if he was pampering me.
That's right. I'll give you a reward. A present for burying Takayori. What do you want?
Oh, this is where we choose the end. Let me save. And we will do 1 or 2 endings in the next episode, depending on how long they are. Oh, thank God. Yeah, Nobunaga would know if I had been a virgin. Thank you, Nobunaga. Why did the dagger think it could get away with that lie, after it already knew he'd been with me? Oh, that was so freaky, though. You dagger, you. We don't even have a name for this little demon. I feel like they should have given him a name. But oh well. All I can call him is Dagger and Little Demon. Well, anyway, I hope to see you in the next video for 1 or 2 endings. And I'd be so grateful for any likes, comments, subscriptions, or shares with your friends to show some support. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all health, happiness, and safety. Dirili signing out. Bye-bye, everybody.